You're listening to Catholic Chicago. Ahead, the Archdiocese of Chicago brings you programs about the people, events, and issues that touch our lives. Thanks for letting us be part of your morning. Now again, Catholic Chicago.
Good morning and welcome to the Voice of Charity. I'm Katie Bredemann and we're delighted to be here with you again this morning on WNDZ 750 AM here in Chicago and also on our live stream at YouTube and Facebook at Catholic Chicago, which is the account for the Archdiocese of Chicago. Here on the Voice of Charity, we're always glad to feature a partner profile or a closer look at one of the many partners Catholic Charities has across Cook and Lake County who want to help and support our work. For many years, Loyola University here in Chicago has been one of those key valued partners on such issues as multicultural social work, social welfare policy, migration policy, and education. Today, we're so pleased to have the opportunity to discuss Loyola's social justice internship program and how it has provided win-win opportunities for students and our clients in recent years. With us to discuss this are Jorion Tucker, Community Partnerships Coordinator in Loyola's Center for Engaged Learning, Teaching, and Scholarship, as well as Esther Marcos, who is a Loyola student and who participated in the internship program during the last academic year. Welcome, Jorion and Esther.
Thank you for having us, Katie.
Thank you. Thanks so much for being on the show. Jorion, can we please start with you? Can you tell us what the goals are of Loyola's social justice internship program?
Sure. So the social justice internship program is a year-long program, a 250 to 275-hour internship experience for students at Loyola. And so students engage in significant work at one of 5 different nonprofit organizations throughout Chicagoland that we partner with for the program. And so those organizations include Catholic Charities, Misericordia, One Northside, Girl Forward, and Forging Opportunities for Refugees in America, or FORA for short. And so through a competitive application and interview process, 13 students are selected as part of the cohort group for this internship and assigned to one of these 5 different organizations for internship, as well as being awarded a $4,000 tuition scholarship, which goes towards the cost of attendance at Loyola. And so throughout the entire internship experience, going through their internship, we meet 10 times over the course of the academic school year, which is split up between each semester, 5 meetings over each semester. And through the lens of our social justice internship experiences, we discuss topics such as leadership, civic engagement, organizational culture, personal development, and many more different theories and principles related to their internship experience. So the overall goal for the program is not only to provide the students with a professional and meaningful experience at the internship, but also to develop them personally.
And so the goal, one of the goals then is to enhance the education process through actual experience, at these non-for-profits, correct?
Exactly.
And so what are the eligibility requirements for students who want to be in the Loyola's social justice internship program?
Yeah, so there's a few requirements to be considered as a candidate to even apply for the program. One, you have to be a full-time enrolled student as an undergraduate, so enrolled in an undergraduate program full-time for the entire academic school year, as well as being a rising sophomore, junior, or senior in order to apply. And so in addition to that, to support the scholarship portion of the scholarship and internship, you can't be awarded a full tuition scholarship at Loyola. And lastly, they have to have at least a 3.0 GPA to apply for the program.
So these are very bright students who are applying, trying to enhance their experience at Loyola with this real life opportunity with a nonprofit. Can you, after you decide who has been accepted into the program, how do you decide which intern goes to which nonprofit?
Yeah, so part of the application process provides the student with a brief description of the organizations that are part of the program and the partnership, as well as examples and descriptions of what the internship positions are. So students get to see that beforehand through the application, and they're prompted to select which organizations they are most interested in working with. And so that's just one of the things that we take into account with the placement process. In addition to that, the essay prompts that the students engage in throughout their application explore topics such as social justice initiatives that they're most interested and passionate about. We look at their career goals. We look at what they're most interested in professionally and aspiring to become after graduation. And so also, lastly, through the interview process, we're able to bring all those factors into play and decide which student will be best placed at specific organizations.
Well, this clearly is a very prestigious internship to be accepted for. Jorion, and Catholic Charities is honored and privileged to be among one of the 5 places that you assign interns to. Can you repeat those other 4? That's really quite an impressive list.
Yep. So we have Misericordia, we have One Northside, Girl Forward, and Forging Opportunities for Refugees in America, or FORA for short.
Those are great places, a variety of places for young students to think about where their heart might be and where they'd like to learn more. Esther, can we now turn to you? Can you tell us about your internship at Catholic Charities? When did it start? I know you worked for our phenomenal Director of Latino Affairs, Dr. Kari Rosita Sheftel. Can you tell us a little bit about that internship?
Yes, for sure. So the official program begins in August of the academic school year, but I actually began my internship quite early in the summer, and that is because Carrie wanted me to be onboarded onto different projects that were going on throughout the summer with Lake County and another teens program where we were hoping to promote and essentially help encourage Latin youth to get the COVID vaccine. And Carrie really wanted me to be a part of that program, a part of that project, and I obviously willingly wanted to also start right off the bat. So I was able to accomplish different COVID-related tests, or just to become informed about how COVID is impacting certain communities, especially the Latinx community. But so essentially, I kicked off right in the summer, but the program then comes to the end a year later in May of 2022. And from there, I guess I just kind of worked all throughout with Carrie one-on-one. My internship was virtual due to Catholic Charities being a remote workplace. But that didn't stop me from essentially connecting with Carrie and her onboarding me onto different projects that the Latinx department tackled in terms of essentially informing the community of certain specific events going on throughout Lake County and Cook County. And really, I was also her digital helping girl in terms of figuring out social media and helping uplift the Facebook page, because I know a lot of people do get a lot of information from Facebook in terms of community events and services offered by different departments and different community programs overall. So I think for me, it was really just great and a great experience despite it being virtual. I think Carrie and I's relationship during the internship was just really, really strong. That really just overall gave it a worthwhile internship.
Well, and you really did come to Catholic Charities at a crucial time, because we all know that the pandemic disproportionately affected Latinx community as well as the African American community across Cook and Lake County. And so the awareness campaigns that you helped to spearhead, Esther, were vital, not only for people to be finding out where vaccines were being given out, but also where basic resources were being available if they needed them. So that was wonderful that you were part of that social media campaign, as well as just being there for whatever else Kari needed. It's really great. Did you have the opportunity to meet and get to know some of the clients at Catholic Charities during your internship?
I sadly didn't meet a lot of them, but I was very, very fortunate to meet the indigenous group that Carrie was able to connect to. They're named the Purepecha community, and essentially they're from the western region of Michoacan, Mexico. And I honestly cannot explain with words the experience I had with these ladies. They are honestly leaders in their community. I was able to just learn so much about their lifestyle here in America, as well as their history coming to this country. And being, Latina, Mexicana myself, someone who does very much see the power and just the overall encouragement of the indigenous community. It was amazing to learn about them and essentially get in touch about my own roots. I grew up here, I was born here, and just to learn with these ladies and being able to offer them aid and support and resources, and just essentially someone to listen to, someone that they could like, vent with and just spill like, whatever they needed. I think it was wonderful for me meeting them. And I just know that if I would have had the opportunity to meet more clients, I would have been just as wonderful. And I honestly cannot explain like furthermore, like for me, like that was like the best part of the internship. And I know that it would have honestly just made everything whole for me, and just learning more about them and their lifestyle.
It sounds almost transformative in your life, Esther.
Yes, no, yes. I think for me, I think that's the biggest project that I point out when someone asks me about the program, that I was able to connect with these women and just really learn from them and just conversate with them. And I think it very much was very transformative for me. And I think now moving on, like I'm able to present their experiences and spread awareness about what they need in different, not only here in Chicago, but everywhere across the country, even the world, because I know Indigenous communities do face a lot of discrimination, and they do need a lot of aid and a lot of resources. Just to be one of the few voices that are helping them uplift and empower them, I think is very, very special and very, very much needed.
Jorion, can you talk a little bit about, with the internship program, these 13 students go out to these 5 non-for-profits and have amazing experiences like the one Esther's just explaining. What opportunities do the students then have to get together and share these experiences at Loyola?
Yeah, so as a group, meeting 5 times over the course of each semester, and through the lens of the social justice internship program, we explore those topics that are specific to leadership, civic engagement, personal development. And so while each student is going through this shared experience at one of these organizations, some of them even working at the same organizations, they're able to apply what they're learning in the classroom to the different theories that we talk about in class, and also to relate to each other as they're going through the same experience. And so on a broader scope, students also have the opportunity to share throughout the entire university. One of the components of the social justice internship program is students presenting their internship at Loyola's Undergraduate Research Engagement Symposium, or URES for short. And so that takes place in the spring, and it's a research symposium where students across the undergraduate university come together to present in a fair type of setting, some form of research or work that they're working on through their undergraduate curriculum. And so students present on their internship and talk about different projects they're doing at the organizations, different things they got to do as far as capacity and impact in those organizations. So the university as a whole gets to see the entire impact of the social justice internship.
And I'm guessing that these gatherings also provide the students with an opportunity to not only share what they've learned, but maybe also ask feedback from the other students about, how did you do this? How did you do that? They're learning the mass transit system in Chicago. They're learning how to deal with clients. They're how to deal with reporting to supervisors. I'm guessing that those gatherings are also a wealth of opportunity to share, best practices that the students learn along the way.
Yeah, and we've learned from past experiences that one of the most impactful and exciting portions of the program is the students actually getting together. So many express how they love working in groups and doing different group projects, and ultimately seeing where each other is at in their internship experience. Some being at different places, they get to share advice and experience as far as what they've done and how it relates to what others have done in the program.
Well, as I said at the top of the show, Catholic Charities is honored to partner with you in this wonderful internship program. If you'll please bear with us, we're going to take a break here on The Voice of Charity. And when we return, we're going to continue our conversation with Jorion Tucker and Esther Marcos about Loyola University's social justice internship program and Catholic Charities' participation in it. Please stay tuned.
Catholic Charities' Refugee Resettlement Program has been especially busy this year, assisting individuals and families who have fled dangerous situations in their homeland, including Afghanistan and the Ukraine. The Refugee Resettlement Team helps with everything they need to start to rebuild their lives in a new country, including housing, employment, clothing, food, English classes, and referrals for legal and immigration services. The refugees are tremendously grateful for the compassion and practical help they're receiving, and they're giving back and helping each other plan for a brighter, safer future. Volunteer opportunities are currently available for those who would like to be family mentors and tutors so children and adults can practice English. To learn more about these rewarding opportunities, call 312-655-7096. That's 312-655-7096.
People always say, how can you spend your day with 3-year-olds? Seeing the changes that they go through and just the journey and how they grow, this is a very rewarding job. Even though at the end of the day, we're not the highest paid people on earth. And when I have a parent contact me and say, my child loves school, that to me, I'm setting that foundation for their love of learning, because really you are changing lives, you are molding lives.
Shape the next generation of leaders. Teach. Apply today at archchicago.org/schooljobs.
Ancestry and genealogy are more important every day. People all over the world are wanting to learn more about their family heritage for personal and for health reasons. At Catholic Charities, we are hearing from adults who lived for a brief time at St. Vincent's Orphanage, the wonderful life-affirming agency that operated out of our headquarters for 91 years, serving thousands of women, children, and families until it closed in 1972. Our post-adoption services help adults who want to learn more about their experience at St. Vincent's. Our compassionate staff members provide whatever family background information they can offer, along with support and reunion services. To learn more, call 312-655-7093. That's 312-655-7093. The spirit of St. Vincent's lives on in the inspiring stories that continue to emerge today.
Welcome back to the Voice of Charity. I'm Katie Bredemann, and today it's my great pleasure to be with Jorion Tucker, Loyola University's Community Partnership Coordinator in Loyola's Center for Engaged Learning, Teaching, and Scholarship, as well as Esther Marcos, who's a student at Loyola, and she participated in the internship program last academic year. What year are you now, Esther? Are you junior or senior?
I am a senior, so I will be graduating in May 2023.
Wonderful, wonderful. We're talking today about Loyola University's social justice internship program that Jorion helps coordinate and that Esther participated in last year. Can I ask, Esther, what your career plans are after you graduate?
Yes, I am currently an advertising and public relations major. So right now with that major, I'm really hoping to be a part of an organization that strives to help people, and it does genuine work for me. I know that comms is a very flexible major where I can essentially help promote different awareness campaigns or just missions of different organizations. So for me, I really do want to take the opportunity to be a part of an organization that helps people and that really does spread awareness about an issue that not only relates to me, but also relates to many communities. And at the end of the day, it accomplishes an end goal that will make the world a better place.
That sounds like just the kind of result that you'd hope for, right, Jorion, from a student who participated in this internship program?
Yeah, they're all really impacted in a strong sense of the experience that they get. And so it really almost energizes them to go out and execute what they learn at this internship program and do it in a real world setting.
Are you seeing that the students who have participated become more engaged in these in global issues, regarding social justice?
Yeah, so one common thing that we see throughout the internships that these students who are selected are already civically engaged throughout the community. And so they have background doing impactful work for their shared community. And so that carries them over to be interested in the social justice internship program, where they're able to do it with such a prominent organization, some of the 5 that we mentioned. And so they're able to continue that work after the internship experience and know what it actually looks like to execute that in a real world setting.
And may I ask, do you have goals for the future of this program? Where would you like to see this program in 1, 3, or 5 years?
Yeah, so moving forward, I would like to see it grow as far as the cohort size. The program is currently for 13 students throughout the academic school year. So if in time we're able to increase that to maybe 15 or to 20 students in the future, I think that would be a great goal to set for the future. And then ultimately, maybe even bringing in more organizations as part of those 5 to increase it to maybe 8 different organizations or even 10 organizations. So to broaden the scope of the program and give students more options on where they can engage in the internship.
That makes a lot of sense because you said you have many more applications than you have positions to fill, correct?
Oh yeah. In an average year, we could see more than 50 applications coming in. And so the difficult part is seeing that so many of these applications are great and quality applications, and you don't have enough spots to reward all of those students who deserve the spots. So increasing the capacity for the program would be the ultimate goal so that more students are able to participate in the future.
I will hope for that as well. Esther, can I ask, when you have worked with social workers at Catholic Charities and across our different programs and services, what do you think of, what have you learned about social work as a profession?
For me, I think I've learned that essentially social work is everywhere and can be found everywhere. Even with my communications major, I know that I'll be able to help communities and people, especially vulnerable communities and people in a lot of what they need help in. And I think social work is very much a field that isn't paid enough attention to, especially because they make such a massive impact in communities, and it is lacking in some. And I think overall, I know I've just grown a greater appreciation for those who have dedicated themselves to this field. And I know that I will most certainly try my best and do my best to help them and aid their missions and their goals, because I know that there's a lot of value in the work that they do. And if just more people were able to help them and hear them out and, uplift them and empower them, I know that there's a massive impact to be made.
And after you worked at Catholic Charities, I know that you were, deeply engaged in the work of the Latino Affairs Department, but were there other programs and services that became especially meaningful to you as you got to know their work as well?
Yes. Being a daughter of immigrants, the immigration office and essentially those who were in charge of aiding people in terms of law, really, really spoke to me, listening to them and learning about how there's different bills going on in Congress and in our local community, and how I knew that, these laws will come to affect real people, people like my family members, like my parents. And I know that it's very, very important to be aware of what's going on in our political world, essentially because, again, these laws will be impacting real people's lives. So for me, it just encouraged me more to be informed, to stay educated, to stay updated with what's going on around me. I know local elections, for instance, aren't paid enough attention to as much as our grand national ones, but I know now that they're just as important, and getting people out there to vote and be aware of the candidates available is just as important. So I think for me, I know I'm even more motivated to also possibly even dip my toes into that sphere, because again, I know it's another field that's very much needed and as many voices as possible to represent our diverse communities.
Well, you're very well spoken, so I can see why you might be considering that yourself. Jorion, is there opportunities for former interns to speak to newer interns? Perhaps, this fall, did you have some of the former interns come in and welcome the new interns to help them see what a wonderful, enriching experience this is?
So we haven't had the opportunity to invite former interns back to the new group. But with this being such a close-knit group, and even the group that I have now, I found that so many of them already know each other. For example, with the first day of class walking in and just hearing some of the conversations taking place, it was almost as if they already had classes together, or some of them might have even went to high school together. So naturally being a part of that closer cohort group, the students naturally bond together. And then I often hear times that students are able to connect with the former interns. Maybe they mentor them, or they have classes with them, or to see them throughout campus. So they're able to keep and maintain those relationships moving forward and gain advice and direction from those former interns.
To me, that's one of the wonderful things about Loyola University, that it's a significant university in the United States, but it's a nice size so that, as you said, in many cases, people may have already, seen each other, been in other clubs or other organizations together. And so that ability to know each other as they're walking into this internship just makes that comfort level, even larger, that everybody's in this together and we've got friends here and we're going to make the most of this experience together.
Yeah, exactly. And then it's just great for them to be able to connect to each other and to lean on each other for that advice. Talking about and thinking about the smaller size of the group, which is 13 students, they're able to lean on each other strongly throughout the entire school year and able to form those close-knit relationships as opposed to classes which are larger in size, where you might not have the capacity or opportunity to engage on a more personal level.
And so, Jorion, if anybody in our audience would like to learn more about Loyola University's Social Justice Internship Program, what's the best way for them to reach out to you and ask questions and learn more?
Yeah, so I would direct them to Loyola University's website, #CELTS, which is CELTS, it stands for Center for Engaged Learning, Teaching, and Scholarship. And on our page, we have a social justice initiatives page, which is our social justice internship page. And it tells you more about the different internship positions being offered to students. It gives descriptions of the organizations that we work and partner with for the program, as well as providing a little bit of a preview for each student and what they are doing at these organizations and who they are on campus.
I saw those write-ups as well. And Esther, you did a beautiful job describing your internship and what it meant to you, but also, inspiring others to get involved as well. What would you say to someone who might be considering this program in the future, Esther?
I think it's most definitely, if the student feels lost within the program, to without a doubt reach out to a former alumni of the program. I actually had an intern who's currently in the program reach out to me because we happened to know each other before the program as well, and I wasn't aware that I was accepted into the program, and she reached out to me. She was like, "Hey, how do I do this? Do you have any advice?" And I'm more than happy to, send her voice memos, text messages. I'm like, "Hey, I'd suggest you maybe do this. Don't be scared to ask your supervisors for questions, because it's better to ask than to wonder and kind of sit there and not know what to do." So I think that'd be the biggest piece of advice, just knowing how to ask help, and that there are students who are more than willingly to share their experiences as well and share their advice. And as you mentioned before, the best practices to how to best succeed at this internship program.
There's no bad question, right, Esther?
Yes, exactly.
And we're now fortunate to have another intern in the communications department this fall, Marcy Garza. And so she speaks so highly of both of you. And we're thrilled to see this program continue, this partnership continue with Catholic Charities. Because as I said at the top of the show, it really is a win-win for both of our organizations, but also Catholic Charities clients. So I want to thank you so much for being on the show today and sharing these experiences with us, Esther, but also telling us about the program, Jorion, and how much that partnership between Loyola and Catholic Charities is enriching so many lives. Thank you both for being on the show today, and I look forward to staying in touch with you both as this year progresses.
Thank you so much, Katie. I'm glad to be here.
Thank you, and have a great rest of your day. Thank you. And we invite all of you back again next week for another edition of The Voice of Charity. For now, this is Katie Bredemann, and on behalf of everyone at Catholic Charities, we thank you for tuning in and believing in the mission of Catholic Charities.
Join us every Monday through Friday at this time for Catholic Chicago. You can stream our programs live or listen to past programs by visiting our website, archchicago.org, and clicking on Radio TV. And please connect with Catholic Chicago on social media.